Welcome everyone to today's Crypto and Stocks TA live stream with no FOMO charts. Today is October 24th, 2021. It's about 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time at night. And let's go over some crypto and stocks TA. Just keep in mind, quick housekeeping in the beginning. I am streaming live on TradingView, YouTube, and Twitch right now. I also have a free Discord group with just simple stock market and Bitcoin weekly watch list notes. Some people were having some audio issues, so this stream does have audio. Sometimes the live stream audio gets muted or the volume gets turned all the way down, so please turn that up, the volume up, so you can hear the audio. All right, let's go ahead and get started. First things first, Bitcoin, crypto. So we had some volatility over the past couple days, and people are probably wondering why. So let's explain why. First things first is the Bitcoin ETF launched last Tuesday. So somewhere in here, right? And the SEC made comments about legalizing Bitcoin or maintaining the legal status of Bitcoin at the beginning of October, and the ETF launched last Tuesday. Options went live last Wednesday. Okay, there's a resistance test. Resistance meaning the ceiling here was tested. Okay, let's actually draw that. So my resistance zone is this yellow box on Bitcoin. Why is that important? Because it's a temporary ceiling on the price for now. So if we really zoom in, let me draw one trend line I know exists before we move on. Okay, so we're playing these two lines right now like that. Some people will draw it up here, but for this stream, I'm going to draw it right here. Now, if we zoom in on the price, we know this top side in the blue circle is the resistance, and this bottom side is the support area. So what exactly is happening? We tested right here in resistance, got a little bit too overbought market conditions, and then pulled back down. Where to support 60,000, right where I said on stream 2 days ago, said downside support is right here at 60,000. And we're bouncing today. The market has opened, Asia market has been open for the past 1 to 2 hours. And a nice intraday bounce. That's all great. However, zooming out, thinking more long-term is there's not enough information here yet to make a call of, are we going to go super bull run to 100,000 Bitcoin in 1 month? Okay. I try not to make those types of forecasts on stream because we have earnings season in stock market. So just a quick side note is we have the biggest week of stock earnings this week, the next 5 days. Basically Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's going to be huge for stock market earnings. In the Discord, I just put the list of the big stocks that are moving. Just for example, Facebook, Monday, we got Microsoft, Google, Apple, AMD, Twitter, Robinhood, McDonald's, like Ford Motor. We have some pharmaceuticals, GlaxoSmithKline, GSK, Bristol Myers Squibb, BMY. We got some airlines, Boeing, right? There's a lot happening. Amazon this week, MasterCard, there's Starbucks. There's a lot happening this week. So that's why I'm actually streaming today, because it's going to be a big week. But how is that going to relate to crypto? People are always wondering, is that volatility could happen in both markets, stock and crypto. For example, let's think about Wall Street. Most of their attention is going to be put on stocks this week. It's the biggest week. So if somebody's going to long or short stocks, it would be this week off the earnings reports, like the day after or 2 days after. So crypto could act as a hedge, right? We might see some volatility in crypto as well, either direction. So setting this up, the framework of this, Our upward daily trend line has been broken. Okay, that's notable. That's why I'm streaming today, is because when you lose this, this should have uptrended. And if we're going to break the resistance, this retest should have held and we should have went up. But that did not happen. So we came down and now we're stuck under the ceiling. So the two scenarios I'm watching for Bitcoin, we'll talk bull and we'll talk bear. All right, we have to go intraday for this a little bit. I'm going to turn on some indicators for people. The only good thing that's going on for Bitcoin right now is we're still in the 4-hour EMA upcross, which is good. But if you analyze the price, it is in a short-term 4-hour daily downtrend. We're just making this lower high right here in the blue circle. In the blue circle here. All right, so we have to remember that sometimes, just like here, are we going to get a repeat of the El Salvador sell the news event crash? Meaning this, is it going to turn into this? Okay, so the bull case scenario is we have to hold above 60,000 and not go below that. If Bitcoin price goes below that, we're in trouble short term. But bull case is we hold above 60,000, we hold this for the whole week, right? Maybe back test 61,400, retest 66, and see the uptrend, the upstairs reversal that needs to happen for continuation. That's what needs to happen with the price. That's what we need to see. We need to see power in the market. Yes, there was this a little bit of almost a little double bottom, almost a BART pattern, but I would still be a little bit cautious of this. I'm not excited, super excited about this move right now because we're just at the top side of the descending triangle resistance, short-term resistance, right in this blue circle right here. So we're in the resistance zone, and then there's another triangle set up here. So if the breakout's going to happen, it's going to have to look like this on the price. And obviously break through 62, 63, 4, 5, 66K and retest 67K. If that doesn't happen, we could fade back down to 60,000 or 59,600. So like here or here or here. These are the three levels I'm watching for, these four blue lines. Okay, but that's the bullish scenario. Let's talk bear, because there is a potential setup. Let me erase everything right now, because we know we're at the resistance zone up here. We could just leave that yellow box up there. But if you turn everything off, and this is why I like doing price analysis, is on an H4 chart, a potential head and shoulders bearish pattern could be developing right here, staring me in the face. It's possible. I'm not saying it's going to happen yet, because for this to confirm, we need to break down. And so if this low like this, lower high, we break down to a lower low, we retest this, then the head and shoulders is in play. Once we have this breakdown, retest of the neckline, fail, we got this head and shoulders in play. And that would be a downside of about 12% when I was looking at it before stream. 10% to 12%. So I'm going to call it 10%. If we lose this neckline in the yellow right here, we're going to pull back down, potential negative 10%, the market back down to like 55,000, 54,000. You want to watch out for that. So I'm not getting super hyped up, bullish in my mind, because if the head and shoulders, and I'm not going to call this yet, it has to fail and retest. We need to see that yellow continuation price to the downside if it's going to be a bearish move. But I've seen head and shoulders, look spooky on the charts, and then it just got reversed to the upside. So if this turns out to like do this, then there is no head and shoulders pattern on the 1 hour. But you want to watch out for that. Just be careful. So there's basically on Bitcoin, from the bottom of this neckline, there's a plus or minus 10% move in Bitcoin that's going to happen. Okay, so I just gave the two scenarios, and I'll draw this yellow box support down here. And so we're playing this right now on the H1 and with the blue neckline support. So 60,000 is the big line in the sand right now. So again, the Asian session is not over. We'll have European and then the American session. So I'm going to watch this very closely and determine where I might want to enter. So yep, that negative 10% will bring us right back down to this lower 200 EMA test. Definitely possible. Okay, so those are just two example scenarios that could happen in crypto. If anybody has requests, go ahead and type it in one of the chat boxes. But I need to tell people about that first because I know everyone's thinking about crypto. Okay, let's take a quick glance at some other indexes related to crypto. Let's look at total. Looking kind of messy, but nonetheless, this is my idea. We're still stuck in the resistance zone. We're not, if we're going to break out of here, we need to do that on the blue. We need to really, we could have had a quick back test. Okay, yep. We could go all the way down to 2431 down here in the blue, but we need to really, really get some bull volume here and some buyers to break out. And if crypto's going to try to start the moon rally, if not, there's a trend line support down at about $2 trillion market cap. So if someone's like really looking for value long, if it ever pulls back here, I would be interested in that. The breakout again with Bitcoin is it has to break and hold. Then I might be interested in that up there. So total 2, everything except BTC, still stuck at resistance, just above the resistance zone. Total 3, all the altcoins basically stuck at resistance as well. As you can see that if we're going to reject down, there's quite a ways down to get rejected because we're at the top ceiling, double top, like I called on 2 streams ago. If we get a double top on this weekly, not so good. Take a quick look at the futures chart because the Bitcoin ETF, BITO, BITO, that's based on the futures of Bitcoin. It's not the spot price of Bitcoin. It's not the Bitcoin price. It's based upon the futures contracts that are traded in the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. Just letting people know about that. All right, so Bitcoin market cap, same deal, resistance zone. And even the Bitcoin market cap, you can kind of see this head and shoulders possibly forming on the daily, even though we double bottom off that neckline. So, bulls might say like, no, we don't want head and shoulders. So they're going to try to buy it up and maybe we'll get a double top. If if you don't do that uptrend, it might double top and pull back down and then pull back down significantly. So watch out for that. CME futures. Okay, CME futures, Bitcoin futures there's a top side. I'm going to call this our pivot point because it's kind of a large pullback. So even if you want to draw a tighter line, that's okay too. So you can see that just poked out above that trend line. Let me draw a cleaner one for people on stream. So then you can see that a better spot of value with these Fibonacci levels would be like 59,000, 53,000, 48,000. It might not go down to 43,000 because that would basically be downtrend. It's not going to go straight down like that. If we were to go down, it would pull back here, but you probably see some buyers come in at the X because that's a previous level of support. So futures, I'm actually really concerned about what are futures traders going to do this week? What's big money going to do with Bitcoin? What's Wall Street going to do with Bitcoin? That's what I'm thinking about. Okay. So we'll keep going here. Let's fast forward to Shiba Inu because that had a big move this past weekend. And let's check out Shiba. What's going on here? All right, so Shiba with continuation today, up 9%. And people are wondering like, why? Why did that happen? So on my own personal time, off stream, I was drawing this symmetrical triangle pattern. You could see it, the yellow pattern, where our Fibonacci, many streams ago, I forgot how many weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, I said someone could probably try to make an entry if they wanted to at 25 cents range right here. So just letting people know that, like I did call that on stream. And then when the first person who brought Shiba Inu to the stream, I was saying this upside down head and shoulders pattern here at the neckline. So if it breaks above 900, 950, it's probably going to go at least 50 to 100%. It went 300%. So we had two successful calls on Shibu. But fast forward to now, you can see here, it's testing this upper candle wick resistance zone on Shiba right here. So the all-time high on this chart is 5011 up here. All right, so on this type of coin, I'm going to have to look intraday. And this was measurable too, because when I saw this symmetrical triangle happen, you measure it, it's 25 to 50% move from the breakout. Where do we go? 50, 60%. If you do the exact thing, it's from the bottom here to the top. If you want to get really, really accurate, it is exactly 60% from the breakout. Exactly 60%. So technical analysis works if people are prepared for it. So I was watching this equilibrium tighten up, and you can see here the uptrend kind of continue. We had some volatility, but higher low, tightening, but a higher low, and then a morning star reversal bullish pattern, boom, infinity candlesticks, and then we're up 60%. So we have to go intraday for this. It was actually like a 5-minute, 15-minute setup if somebody wanted to time the entry just really, really well, because you could see it happen right here yesterday about 7 a.m. Eastern time. So this is a little bit of bots. Bots kind of trigger this, people buying this, but a tightening range right here. This is very, very sensitive. So this is a little more advanced. But we got plenty of volatility. Okay, hit this 15-minute oversold. Nice bounce today, 16%. Coming back down to retest the 200 EMA. Bounced again in the past 2 hours, 10%. So Shiba Inu is a day trader's paradise right now. But people are wondering, what's next? Okay, what's next? This is how I would do this. Let's go back to the daily. Okay, we have our big Fibonacci set up. Now I'm going to Fibonacci the latest move. It's kind of hard to see. Where did the cross happen? Somewhere right here. So 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. right here. So like this, you can see, boom, this is why this is happening. You get a pullback, boom, right into 618, bounce. Right here, you're testing the 50%, 382 levels. Pull back to 50%, retest 236, power. Pull back to 50%, retrace. Retest 382. Probably day traders are going to try to retest 236 if possible. If not, you could see this tightening up once again into a kind of like this. So also we had the break of this trend line, which is another type of bullish setup. So if you're wondering, like, how do you find this kind of chart? Well, you have to be charting it on a regular basis. So for me, this symmetrical triangle was here for like a long time. It was here for 3 weeks, almost 2 weeks straight. So that's why it's important to try to chart. And you can catch moves like this. But day trading is tougher in crypto because you have to be awake for it to happen, and you have to see it, right, in your time zone. So sometimes you'll miss moves, but that's just crypto. Crypto's 24 hours. This price action is a little bit tricky, right? It's not a super clear pattern. Yeah, so you even got almost a little head and shoulders too. Yep. So there's hourly head and shoulders to the rebound. To me, it looks like it's just consolidating. You want to draw the price like this, right? So somebody could say that's kind of trying to do an uptrend reversal, right? Because if it was uptrending and then we were downtrending right until here, until 5 o'clock, and it's oversold enough for traders in Asia to be like, in America to say, hey, that's relatively lower spotted value. We're going to try to save it. Boom, up. But the problem is the resistance zone. I'm just looking at this right here, resistance support. Because the trend is kind of sideways trend. It's consolidating right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if this pulled back to 3638. in the yellow circle right here, 3638. But if things are going to get real bull, might make a higher high and retest this upper 4428 as well. So those are my two targets. Just check for momentum. Yeah, I could see a little bit, maybe one more move up. It's retesting the bottom side of this. There's a baby Elliott wave in here as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I want to see, are we going to get an ABC correction down, or are we going to get just a baby correction and then additional rally overnight? But again, this is not the lowest spot of value. Why was it 5 o'clock rally or 10 o'clock rally? It's because you got oversold as a day trader. All right, so that's what I'm playing on Shibu Inu. Let's go to RUNE. That's true too. I should note that tweets are very, very important. They could cause volatility, right? Because if you traded Doge or if you invested in Doge, you know Elon Musk tweets. Whatever he tweets, anything about crypto, Dogecoin, or Shiba Inu, it has a massive effect on the market, okay? So if you're trying to trade Shiba and Doge, like maybe add in Elon Musk tweets to your analysis. Make sure you're watching out for that. It has a big effect on it. Whatever he does, says anything, the market moves on those two coins. Okay, let's go to RUNE. RUNE USDT. Okay, RUNE. Make sure I have a better chart. Meaning I want to see all the data. Let's go to RUNE. All right, so RUNE, this is very correlated with Bitcoin. I'm going to go faster now. So those are the two long analysis, but I'm going to go much faster. So we're 20 minutes in. So RUNE is very correlated with Bitcoin here, okay? Because this is basically the exact same Bitcoin chart. The crash, rally, consolidation, rally. What I would do first is set your resistance and support levels. Support at 1185, support 642, 331. Okay, we play those levels here. And RUNE to try to break out of this triangle here. In a much, much longer descending triangle. Somebody could say, okay, this upside down head and shoulders. This might be upside down head and shoulders. There are a lot of upside down head and shoulders in the market. But if we just look at this one baby head and shoulder, upside down head and shoulders right here, that's very obvious pattern on the daily. Measure that from neckline, 40%. Are we at 40%? We just hit 40%. So the first target on RUNE has been met at the price we are right now. If we're going to go 2 times the target, okay, 80%. 80% would be 1658 right here. If that happens, 2 times the target. But watch out with these head and shoulder, upside down head and shoulders, because it is starting to get into the overbought range, losing a little bit of momentum. So I wouldn't be surprised if RUNE pulled back to about 980 over time. It's either going to pull back, it could pull back to like 1173. I'm looking support levels on the downside based upon price, 1173, $10. Okay, so just watch out for that. Although the hourly's still in the uptrend, okay, but then just know that the pattern of this, the first target has been met. So if there's no more buyers up here, the price is just going to fade down. Or it might bounce around in there, up there. It might flag if people are not sure what's going on. Okay, so if someone's trying to day trade this, there were much more lower levels of value, like at 130 today, just like 5 hours ago. Okay, so, or 3 hours ago. Okay, so you want to kind of watch out for that if you're trying to day trade it. You always want to, if you're trying to go long, I'll turn my emails off. If you're trying to go long, you want to buy the dips, the valleys, right? For example, it's just, there's even an upside down head and shoulders on the 5-minute right here. So if somebody's trying to long this thing, you know, put your stop loss below the candle wick, way below there, 3%, 6% target, and boom, you got a 12% target. So right now, you hit that double top on the RSI pulling back. Okay, so I would just watch this right now. It's in a 5-minute channel. Okay, next. Let's go Doge. Doji. I shouldn't say Doji. Doge. Okay, Doge. Let me do a fresh chart for y'all. So here we go. And just remember, Shiba Inu, okay? Just remember, Shiba Inu and Doge, they started at a very, very low price, right? Doge was like 0.001 cents. And then SHIB started even lower than that. But again, I'd be wary of this because when you have a monster 500% move at all-time resistance, you're probably going to get a little bit of a pullback at least, right? So just be aware of that. If you're going to buy something, try to buy it at a discount. That's how you win in the market. You just never want to be the guy. You don't want to be the guy who buys Doge at 72, right? Because there's so many spots in here on the way up to try to long this thing with a stop loss. So just saying. All right, so Dogecoin. It's consolidating to the side right now. And I did draw this triangle like a couple weeks ago on the stream saying watch for this breakout on Doge, and it happened. Okay, saying this breakout pattern. And then I was saying, is this upside down head and shoulders on Doge? Is this upside down head and shoulders on Doge? Right, so there's a lot of stuff happening in the market right now. Altcoins. Bitcoin's a different story though, because Bitcoin is at, like I said, Bitcoin's at the top of the resistance right now. Dogecoins are just, everyone's trying to, altcoins are trying to rally while they can. That's what's happening right now. So we have this inverse head and shoulders at 30% of the breakout. If it's going to go up to 33.24, which makes sense because it's going to hit this top resistance zone here if that happens. If that happens. All right, but we need people to buy this thing though, right? Just because the pattern's here, it's not going to magically just go up. We need buyers to push that price up. Okay, we'll look at Moderna. So, the better spot to long, and I might have said this on the stream, on this coin or another coin, is I said, if we're upside down head and shoulders, watch for the back test, which is right here at 24 cents. Okay? The back test, because you saw it went up and then pull back down. And if it goes up again, that's where I would enter a long, right? Or you could just do it right at that spot. You could put a long and put a stop loss. It was pretty large stop loss, risk 10%. So you have to, try to get 20, 25, 30% on the upside of a swing trader. And then just let go of the trade. So since it's up, somebody should move their stop loss up here or up here to maintain profit zones. Maybe sell a little bit or at least move the stop loss up so you're not going to lose money. It depends on your time frame. If somebody's trying to be like a 5-minute day trader on Doge, it looks like it's. Actually, hold on. We're starting to get an intraday pullback, right? But if someone's a swing trader, because we have to understand that the day trading sessions move in cycles, right? So it'll pull back, and the next session will pick it back up. All you need to know to answer that question is: are we uptrending or not? Still, that's the question. 4-hour uptrend, barely holding. Okay, we might get a pullback. Hourly uptrend. This is actually turning into an ascending triangle too. This is why there's so many patterns here if you know technical analysis. This is why it rallied as well. It's beautiful beautiful ascending triangle. Right here, you can measure this. You do conservative, 8%, 15%, 30% from the upside down head and shoulders. So 8 to 15%. If this back, I would watch for this to answer your question. Watch for the back test right here. If we hold above 26 cents, it might continue up. So that would be the answer to your question. And then this is not financial advice, but if somebody's aggressive breakout trader, which I know some people in here are, you got to put a stop loss on this thing below the candle body wick and then try to get 2 times your target. But if it fails, it's going way back down to 24.44, and that trade will get stopped out. So, trading, if you're going to be a breakout day trader, you have to be willing to lose, right? If you're never willing to lose any money, then there's no opportunity. But the smarter thing, not the smarter thing, but the safer thing to do would be wait for to just a pullback, either here or here, 2650 or 2477 range. But if Bitcoin crashes and the whole market crashes, then all these targets are nothing for now, right? Because if it just does that, then you're going to stop that 2 times. But if someone's going to try, that would be an educational setup. Okay, next, MRNA, Moderna, the big Moderna. Okay, what I'll say on Moderna is I've been tracking Moderna for a long time, trading Moderna for a long time. So, quick recap: we had this ascending wedge breakout, boom, very nice, and then double top, triple top, and they got shorted down on some bad news, especially when the Merck pill came out. Then it got shorted down a lot. This whole pattern got shorted down 2 times the target. I went long Moderna down here on October like 7, 8. And but the problem, we got earnings on Moderna November 4th. And if we're looking at trend, support and resistance, so we know we have a gap because we have stocks, right? We have a gap support right down here. We have support. Actually, I'm going to call this whole yellow box down here support. Let me bring it up for you. Right there. So you see this spot is support, this spot is support. Resistance is here at 384. So 384 resistance. I would only play like these two levels. Yeah, let me redraw this thing for you. Because you see I see two gaps and make it easier for you. So there's a gap support down here and there's a gap resistance right here. Here meaning 367 and 272. What we need to watch out for is the downtrend going to continue, or is this the beginning of a higher low reversal? Two scenarios. If it's bearish, we're pulling back down to 264 over the next 2-3 weeks. If it's bullish, this will hold and retest the gap fill 368. So the only thing that's good is, we're not very, very overbought. We are losing a little bit of momentum. This is where I would use multi-time frame analysis. So I'm moving in. Right, I went long Moderna down here because it's low value. Let's just take a look here. It's basically consolidating. That's why it's a little harder to see what's happening right now because the 1 hour downtrended and now we're going sideways consolidation. So all I can really say in this particular case is just to watch the break of either of these two prices, 319 to the downside or 344 to the upside. And then you can measure this move. 8% move on Moderna is going to happen someday, plus or minus 8%. So that's all I really would watch for. Although there is on the longer term, like I said, there is this potential of that to come down. So 316 is a hugely important level on the downside for Moderna. Okay. I don't want to go too intraday than this. It might bounce tomorrow morning, but if you're talking about bigger levels, right? I'm just watching literally 316 and 342. Will this turn to upside down head and shoulders in a bullish? Maybe, maybe that would bring us like 10% up to the from the breakout spot, which would take us to top resistance. But then it has to pass through 342 first. So if in a breakout setup, it would be something like this, right? If somebody's going to try to long this, the breakout of that, then they could try that. If not, right? If somebody's going to try to put on some risk here, okay, is this, right? It's same deal. It's like a 4% stop loss. Okay, so it's really, really your risk tolerance, if how aggressive you are in this market. Are you going to try buy value down here and see if it's going to turn into, and we're going to get the bounce? Are you going to wait for a higher bounce for confirmation, or are you going to wait for a lower place of value? It's up to you, really. This is just education. Okay, let's go to the next one. VIAC. Oh, okay, Viacom. CBS. Unless this is a crypto, let me make sure this is not a crypto. Okay, it's not. All right. Viacom CBS. Okay, the only thing here is massive consolidation. Okay, so there's a fundamentally wrong reason with this right here. So all I can really say here is I would just Fibonacci this from bottom to top like that. It's getting stuck. There's a huge resistance right here, right here. So probably this is like some bearish fundamental problem on March 18th. Something happened here. You'll probably know better than I do on fundamentals, but I'm a technicals guy, right? All I call is the TA here. So it's stuck between these two boxes here on the resistance and support. Okay, so literally 3685 and 4310. Let me draw a parallel channel for you. This will be better for you, like that. You see it's flagging. It's a gigantic bear flag. Not much liquidity, not much volume, not much trading, but when something's in a hugely consolidation range, a lot of professionals, they won't even touch this thing. That's why it's consolidating. Unless there's a bullish, because for stocks, there needs to be a fundamental bullish catalyst or bearish catalyst, right? So if the hedge fund went bust or something went bad with CBS and Viacom, um, we get massive shorting down, and then the traders are done with that, and nobody really wants to invest in it until something happens. So I should say this about Moderna and Viacom CBS as well is it's about the fundamentals as well, the news, what's actually happening with the company. So on Moderna, example is like, well, what's going to happen with the vaccine boosters? That's a good point. Vaccine boosters just got approved from Moderna, so if we get a bounce, that's why, basically. Um, if we get some bearish news for some reason, if another company comes out with like a better treatment option, like for example Merck did on that one day, then that's why Moderna crashed. Same thing with CBS, Viacom. Something needs to happen with the entertainment sector and for this company, like a deal, right? A streaming deal or a movie deal. Something needs to happen for this thing just to move. Until now, nobody wants to touch this thing really. So I would just be a little bit careful of that. We have earnings on CBS November 4th. So I would just watch out for that. Although it's at a support level, so if somebody wants to try to do this, although I personally wouldn't trade it, but if somebody wants to try to do this, okay. Educational, put your stop loss. Well, if you measure this thing, eventually CBS is going to go negative or positive 16% move, 8 to 16%. So let me put a much larger stop loss, and you could target the top of this resistance as your target if you're trying to long it with a low to medium sized position, just because it's not moving anywhere, right? Because what we want to see happen is you want to see this in the market so at least something's happening, right? It's trending. It's downtrending in the pandemic start, and then after reversal, it's uptrending. Now it's consolidating on the below the 618. So if it ever is going to bounce on some very good bullish news, it'll probably bounce to like 44 or 52. And if there's bearish news, you can see the continuation here of this pattern down to 28.45. So that's how I play that. Okay. Does anybody have any more requests before we move on here? Let me just look at my crypto for a second on the side. We could go back to crypto. Okay. Phantom. Okay. Phantom. Phantom USDT. Phantom. Just want to check I have the latest data. Okay, we'll do Phantom and silver. Wow, I remember I remember doing some TI on Phantom way back here. That's kind of funny to see that on the chart still. Okay, so Phantom still correlated with Bitcoin last year in the beginning half of this year, but Phantom in a clear uptrend. Very nice. So with Phantom in this particular situation, I think I drew this for somebody before. I remember this. Is Got to kind of watch out for this. We just broke out above the top side resistance. This is why drawing longer term chart lines is very important. There's multiple here like that. Okay. So, um, and we know we're in an uptrend is very obvious if you understand technical analysis. So the case for Phantom right now is we just broke out above this resistance right here, and we're see it just back tested it on October 10th, so that's fine. Now it's seeking its maximum higher high in the price. Although its momentum is fading a little bit, so I would watch out for Phantom a little bit. Be a little bit careful on Phantom. Wow. Yeah. So we might have a weekly head and shoulders bearish reversal pattern. This might take 3 months to play out, but I would watch out on Phantom. Be careful. Because if somebody really, really wanted to go long on Phantom, the ultimate value spot was either here or here, July 26th or September 27th, because there's clear trading setup breakouts, right? You get the V-shaped recovery reversal right here at a relative support level that was established like that. And then here you have the breakout retest of resistance. That's why that's happening. I don't want to get too bearish though, because it looks like it wants to go up in the short term, but it's not the lowest spot of value. Do you know what I mean? So all I can say is just be careful on this one. I'll give you targets, so you know, just in case something happens. So what we can do here, it's very choppy. So this is not the most liquid coin. That's why it has explosive moves like this. But this kind of setup, when it gets this getting too advanced, but you know, you might get a bearish reversal at some point. All I would look for really is price reversal, because this is going up like that. If this starts to fade down like this, then we're in big trouble on Phantom. But I'll give you some levels so you can see Fibonacci this thing. And if it wants to go up, the target is $3, 354. Just some three easy targets for people watching the stream. But if it pulls back, you could pull back down to 217, 180, 150, like so. Still in an hourly uptrend. Okay, that's fine for Phantom. But it's a little suspicious though. A little suspicious. Okay. Let's see. Next one. Silver. XAG. I'm going to bring up the forex.com chart. XAG USD silver. Okay, people might be wondering, why do we bounce? So first we have to get the larger pattern in here. For a long time, I drew silver like this. Okay, there's very simple. You just have to use one tool, the parallel channel tool, understand support, resistance, and trend, those three things, and then try to make a long entry here on silver. So I have since 2020 to 2021, the resistance, the ceiling is 29.92, support is 21.67, the middle half line, the heart line I like to call it, is 24.34. So this is where a long would like to make their entry, right down here on September 30, 24.35. That's your best spot of value because that's the ultimate support level. And so if you're a day trader, it's good. It's very important to look on longer term, because this line was here for a year straight. So the downtrend fading, it bounced once and it faded down again, and that's why longs went long there, because everyone, not everyone, but a very patient swing trader, investor, or technical analyst knew, boom, right there, $22 long entry. Not that huge a stop loss, but like a 5-6%. Target 12%. We could do 5% in this case, 5%, 10%, and boom, trade is done. That's why people are selling intraday right now. Now, what's interesting to note is in the future, moving forward, this thing, what's going to happen with silver? It's downtrend. It was downtrending. Now it's hit a almost a Higher high, almost, just barely. So it's trying to uptrend reverse here. Also, I should note there's a baby, what I call baby upside down head and shoulders right here. This is a clear reversal signal to the upside. It hit that measure and moved just perfectly. 6%, 6% before some red sell off, right? So it basically hit the target. All I watch for is if this is going to pull back, maybe we might get another upside down head and shoulders. So there might be another long entry opportunity here on silver if it's possible. This is a bullish case, right? That would be 10%, bring us back up to the next resistance level as such here. So I would watch out for that. If you're short, you just got to wait for maximum resistance if you're short. If you're long, you're looking for maximum support. And again, this is the part about trading is nobody really knows what's going to happen at this exact spot, but you just play the odds. You know what I mean? I just think of it like 50% chance we're going down or up. So if anything makes it lean, 60%, 70% going up, like I'm going to buy that thing. I'm going to buy the asset, put a stop loss. That's trading. If what would make me not want to buy this, for example, on silver is if the price failed right here. If this went like this and broke down, like I'm not buying that long. No way. I would actually short this thing down like that. But we bounce and that's fine. Okay. We hit the resistance zone. Okay. So if we pull back, I'll watch for a retrace here. That's what I watch for on silver. Okay. Next. All right, since we have stock earnings, let's just go through some stock earnings really fast. We did it like a bunch of cryptos in a row. So start at Facebook. Facebook earnings tomorrow. So we had the Facebook drama of all that stuff you probably heard if you read about the news about the algorithm and the politics and the AI. Kind of a flash crash Facebook scandal. But we have earnings, so that's even bigger problem tomorrow. So we have this trend line down here. We have a much, much longer term trend line right here. So we broke down out of the rising wedge. So whenever we break down out of a rising wedge, that's a yellow bad flag. Okay. Because this, you have to remember, I wrote in my Discord at towards the bottom of the watch list, is that the Federal Reserve tapering program is going to start. They said they're going to start in November. That's 1 week from now. I just saw on Bloomberg right before I started that Powell said the quote was they're going to start the tapering program. So I'm like, okay, if earnings doesn't hold us up, we could basically keep pulling back down in the market because the Federal Reserve is pulling back. I don't know if everybody knows this. Federal Reserve is pulling back. They've been telling us for 3 months. They confirmed it last month on the conference call, Federal Reserve conference call. So if earnings doesn't survive, hedge funds, they already said they're going short 3 months ago. That was here. They're set. Hedge funds said they're selling short way back here because of the tapering rumor. And that's coming to fruition now. So Facebook, just kind of watch out. Just get levels because earnings volatility, nobody really knows what's going to happen with the report. You could have some general sense if you really know the company financials, but I'll say it like this. If we have bad earnings longer term, the target is 293.61 for support to the downside if this price trend pulls back down. If we have good earnings for whatever reason, maybe ad sales or something, 345 to the upside, 384. If it's really bad, if there's another scandal, then 263. Okay, I'm giving big price levels for investors and swing traders. Okay. So watch out that. Intraday, there's always going to be bounces up and down because that's just the way the bots and algorithms are. Right? Because we had oversold and a bounce, and now we're probably 15-minute, 1 hour sold. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if Facebook tomorrow try to rally. Again, it's kind of like Moderna where you have just this resistance right here and the support. That's the only two price levels as like a day trader for the immediate directional break you need to look out for. 342 or 319. That's all I'm looking at tomorrow. I already got my targets basically set up. So next one, AVTR event tour. Okay, so you can see here why I chart the S&P 500 and the indexes so much is that S&P 500 represents 80% of the stock market. So if you nail the S&P 500 down on analysis, you'll kind of get the general direction of a lot of companies for tops and bottoms. So I sold a lot of my stocks here in September because just on technical analysis, you're at a relative top. So I'm like, I'm out of here because bad news, relative top on TA, you got to make the decision. Am I going to hold or fold? So I sold, took my profit. And I did do some day trading on other stocks on the way down, but that's something different. Okay, AVTR, with resistance support. So zooming way out, we have this trend line that was broken. So once that trend line is broken, shorts new to short that. Okay, top side, resistance. That's a little too far, something like this. Okay, so another rising wedge pattern that broke down bearish temporarily. And yes, there are EMAs, right? So the 200 EMAs, your downside target, 34.37. I'm just doing easy targets for people. Sometimes I like to Fibonacci as well. You get a lot of targets. And if some X marks a spot, like you can see here, this Fibonacci 236 and this EMA 200 right here at the X, that would be a very interesting level. If this continue, if AVTR has any bad news or bad earnings, this is going straight down to 34.68 right there. Earnings on the 28th. Ooh, that's 4 days from now. I'll watch out for that very closely. And be careful for tomorrow if you're a day trader, because it kind of looks like the S&P 500 sort of wants to pull back for like a day at least on the intraday. I wouldn't be surprised if we pulled back down because this chart looks almost the same as like a S&P 500 or a NASDAQ chart. You have this resistance trend line here on the right side. Can you see that? I'll zoom in. So resistance trend line on the right side and a very, very steep descending kind of megaphone wedge. So you can see if it's bearish, if we get rejected from resistance, go straight down here like that to the downside. Maybe stopping at 37 first, then 35. I'll watch out for that. We could just check the intraday. Yeah, so you can see intraday is still confirmed downtrend. So I'll just watch out for that and the earnings. Let me check our volume. What kind of volume we got on this thing? In the millions? Okay, so it's got some liquidity to it. Yeah, so you can see here a very, very clear consolidation for several days. This last thing I'll draw on this one is, and we can kind of feel the pattern, right? Same thing, Moderna consolidation, CBS consolidation, AVTR consolidation. That means people are unsure because we have a huge 3 weeks of earnings, especially this week. So 38 is your immediate support and 39 is your resistance. I would just watch for the break of those two. You can measure this move, plus or minus 2% move incoming. Okay, how much time we have? Okay, 54 minutes. Okay, let's do just do some big tech stocks because that's really gonna move market. Let's do Microsoft. 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 So we had the immediate trend line pivot point. That's why I drew this here. Let me zoom out, and you can see, even if you zoom way out, okay, because I'm more of an investor, swing trader, longer type trader person. Okay, because I want to capture large moves. Okay, I do also day trade, but I always try to focus on long term because that's how I basically can get a good handle on the market. Like for example, even before the pandemic started, I sold all my stocks here in January 2020 because on the charts, if you know technical analysis and you know stock indexes, there were so many warning signs on the stocks there. So I went all cash back there. So TA works if you really, really know how to use it. Not 100% though. So here you can see when you start to draw the trend line, boom, that's the support level on the trend line. Literally, that was there for 3 months. If somebody really, really wanted to try to take that long. And the resistance point here on August 25th, that trend line, although a little bit dirty, it's meaning it's not, didn't hit the top side, so we have to pull it down. That still makes sense. Okay, so Microsoft did not pull back down because of tech. Also, there's a reversal pattern here in the candles, even there are candles. And then there was on like every tech stock at this period of time, there was this upside down head and shoulders. So on Apple, I went long right here on the beginning of October. 5% to the upside. We just hit that 5% target. That's why I'm saying we might get a pullback down. So watch out for that on Microsoft. We might pull back down to 299, the top of the neckline, right into earnings. And then earnings will decide, are we going to go up or are we going to go down? So I never hold stocks into earnings. I already sold all my swing trades. So I'm not holding into earnings because I've learned over time I don't do that anymore because there's just you have no control over the financials, right? I have no idea what the exact numbers are going to be. Although sometimes I can forecast it. Like for example, if I think Christmas we had a lot of sales like on Amazon or eBay or something, then maybe I could presume, okay, we probably had some big profits. But for the most part, I don't really hold the earnings at all. Immediate support at 305, 294, 295 is what I'm watching. Resistance at 310, and then we could just get a quick target of Fibonacci extension. 316, did I say 316? 316 resistance, 322 resistance above, and I take that off. So those are the targets. You can kind of see momentum barely just fading a little bit on some of these charts, right? You even got a head and shoulders on the 4-hour overbought RSI zone. So that's why I'm thinking we might pull back at least a little bit. It would make sense too if investors are going to get a little bit nervous on earnings and inflation reports and just sell. Next one. I'll do this one really fast because KRBN. Okay. Carbon. Let's do this. So trend line here. Let's see. See, it's like this. Yeah. So all I'm going to say is you have resistance and support and support. Okay. It looked like KRBN wanted to come down, almost head and shoulders, but the bulls stopped here and double bottom. So there's a bit of a battle here. All I'm going to say is watch your resistance of 43.30 and support of 38.40 immediately because it went from a double top to a double bottom. So that's complete indecision in the market, or there was bad news and then there was good news. So for this type of problem or this type of chart, maybe switch to a weekly. Watch for the breakout of resistance. If it doesn't break out above the price, then it's not going anywhere. Right, but it kind of slowed down a little bit, so that's the only two levels I'll watch out for. If it breaks up like that, great. If it breaks down like that, short or sell. Yeah, because it's still in the uptrend, so there's nothing to panic about on a daily. But if this thing doesn't keep going up, then it's gonna lose power. This is the carbon. Is this some kind of energy ETF? So, right. So you want to watch for U.S. oil. Okay. Again, for U.S. oil, very interesting. We drew this on the stream. I'm on U.S. oil now. There's upside down head and shoulders here, break of resistance, and then you're up. You're in the green. So if somebody wanted to try to trade this, only a 4% stop loss was needed, and there's a 4-to-1 profit. So we're hitting this upper resistance zone on the gap fill. The gap resistance 57. So now we're kind of in this no man's land of, is this going to keep going to 62, 64 or not? So And the reason why energy has been going up is because of the energy supply crisis globally, supply chain crisis. That's why. But on technicals, even if I didn't understand the news or didn't even hear it, it's just there's a low support level of value staring me right in the face right here. And this has been here for a very long time. 1.5 years that line was there. This line. Since 1 year ago. So, if somebody want, but the problem is for trading view, you have to have like a paid account sort of if you want to save your uh, analysis, right? Because free, it just deletes all the time. Unless you're going to like take a picture or try to make an idea or something. So just pointing that out. All right. Next, Aussie dollar, US dollar. So we're going Forex. Okay. I'm going to start long term. I think I charted this before. So here we go. We have our two trend lines. Although that, I'm going to use the counterbody close. Trend line. Just do that. And then a trend line on the top. Like this. Based on a weekly, it hit that double top resistance, pulled back down, and bounced back up on oversold conditions. This kind of reminds me of Bitcoin for some reason. Because you have I shouldn't say Bitcoin, it's kind of like the ASX. But you're in an uptrend on the daily, and then there's this consolidation, head and shoulders, pull back down, and it basically turned into a daily, short-term daily uptrend because it went from a downtrend as such. Then we made a higher high, higher low, higher high. So then it's trying to pull back right now. It needs to anywhere above 73 cents is still fine in the uptrend because it needs to make a stair step lower low pattern like that if it's going to happen. I would be a little bit careful though of a much longer term potential head and shoulders if this happens. For example, if the U.S. market stock market comes down, then the U.S. dollar would have some issues, volatility, and that would cause Forex volatility as well. So I would kind of just keep that in the back of my mind. But a lot of Forex people are day traders, so you probably want me to go in. Long entry for like a swing. And this is where I need to use more price action. You can see here we had a downtrend into a consolidation into an uptrend reversal. So this is what I'm saying. If you know support and resistance and you draw this like that, all you need to know is, are we going to break out here or are we going to retest this? There's two spots to buy here as a long as such. Now, fast forwarding to now is we have this hourly uptrend here. It's right at the support zone. So if we lose this support right here at 74.69 or 74.56 right here, I would presume shorts would want to short that a little bit more and then close somewhere down here in 74.07. I would just watch for that. Bulls are trying to keep this alive, the trend alive. But as soon as the trend line gets definitely broken and retested, then another downtrend will ensue. If you're trying to go long, then you just want to try to find the lowest low price possible, which is not now. It would be probably somewhere at like 74 or 7352. If it goes deep into 73, nice. If it goes way deep, I mean, that's real nice if you have enough patience to go long there. But our first test of the 236 balance, and we're holding that. If we lose that, probably targets 74.01. Do a downside. And then again, zooming out, this pattern is staring me in the face right now. Is this going to turn into a head and shoulders or not? Because this turned into an M. This is a double top reversal pattern. This started the downtrend. You lose that support, game over for trading long. But Shorts love that. They're like, yes, this is the great setup. But for forex, 8% is a huge deal. So I'm not going to call that yet. Just watch for the big support here at 70 cents if that ever happens. And next, take a look at some cryptos. Yeah, I saw GRT moving. All right, let's flip back. Let's do like two more stocks because it's important. Let's do like Apple because basically the biggest stock in the world. So Apple, first things first, zoom out, get a big bird's eye view of Apple. What's going on with Apple? Apple not, it didn't have the most powerful uptrend, right? Some other stocks went way more powerful than this, but still though, there are a lot of setups here like I was drawing. You see this? I drew this on the last stream. This is how I knew how to go long Apple because once you have this setup and there's another baby triangle here, I this is how I traded Apple. I said, "Ooh, there's a nice equilibrium setup. I bought this breakout. I sold here 150, and I also bought the bottom of this Head and Shoulders 138, and I sold last week. Not a market order. I don't know the exact price. It was like 149 or 148 something. Get the numbers mixed up, but it is my automatic take profit order, so I'm out. I don't hold through earnings, so I don't do that because if it's gonna come down, you can see here. Where's the trend line support is way down here. If this is our lower high, if Apple has bad earnings for whatever reason, 136.25 is our target to the downside. If that fails, then we need to zoom out. I should say our bull target, if Apple has good earnings, is we're going straight back up to 160. But if you want to Fibonacci this, which I like to do, bottom of the low to our all-time high of the year-to-date high. So again, there's some suspicious zone down here. I like to call it the X marks the spot zone. We have a double support level, trend line and a Fibonacci, like a horizontal and a diagonal. So it creates an X marks the spot in this zone right here. 136, 134, 35. If it ever pulls back down here, I might long that eventually. So watch out for those levels on Apple. Let's go really quick Google because that's very large market cap. Google. Okay, so I already have this up, so let's just wait. This trend line looks wrong. Sometimes trading view. There we go. I was looking at the wrong view. Sometimes lines moved around. All right, so we had the upside down head and shoulders, and that popped up into a head and shoulders to a pullback. So that's why I drew the sideways. Google is not as strong as Apple on the chart, so it's going sideways right now. The downside target is this blue circle down here. X marks the spot, 2640. If we lose that, there's a gap fill support down here at 2540 to the downside. If that happens, it's already angling down. Right, so something that can save Google is ad revenue, YouTube revenue. What else is there? Probably just those two. Is there big revenue sources if you've been following Google for a while? So we'll see what happens here. Okay, next somebody's requesting ETH. Talking about Ethereum. Use the UOB chart. Okay, so Ethereum, and we've been saying this for a lot on stream. So before I get in here, I just want to say I'm streaming live on TradingView, YouTube, and Twitch. I have a free Discord group if you want to join. I live stream on weekends. I'm a full-time stock and crypto trader and investor. Okay, so resistance right here. This is why we're getting stuck here. Resistance at the upper 4,000s on Ethereum. We need to zoom out though. Zoom out a little bit. I'm gonna use the log chart so I can see better. Zoom out, draw an extended trend line, and you can see the pattern here. Okay, Ethereum, this line was here for a very, very, very long time. Very long time. This is how I knew how to long here on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay. Okay. Right. But then the only thing that's keeping me bullish here is, well, if this is an ascending triangle pattern, it's supposed to break out. It's supposed to, textbook style, 40 to 100%. Like all the coins are supposed to do this. Bitcoin, total, market cap, Ethereum. But the problem is it doesn't always have to break out right away. It could continue to tighten. We could get a pullback for a week straight down to 3,500 Ethereum, then tighten up more, and finally the decision needs to be made. Are we going to break out in the market or not? It's tightening this year. In the next 3 months, we might get the answer. That's why I just keep watching this I keep watching this closely every day. If we're going to break out, we need to retest, and the rally continues. Because this all-time high in Ethereum price never happened like this before. But if we pull back down, I wouldn't be surprised. These are the only two levels I'm really watching on the triangle. In the yellow circle, let me get an accurate number for you. Like 4,200 to 4,400. If this hourly uptrend, the 4-hour uptrend stops, then I'll be looking for, scalping at like 36 or 3,300. There's going to be a battle here at the bottom of this trend line. It has to be very bearish for us to fail like that. Something really bad has to happen in the market. We already had some of this bad news priced in. Dogecoin, hype, fail, China miners ban. El Salvador had a little bit of problems with the crypto wallet. China tried to ban transactions. USA legalizes or said they're legalizing a Bitcoin ETF. That's what all this is right here, this leg. So if the Bitcoin ETF is basically short-term priced in, I wouldn't be surprised if we pull back. So there's only two scenarios going to happen on ETH. It's a relative high for now. Even ETH is consolidating, just like this. So I'll be a little careful of ETH. Right. A better spot of value again on a 15-minute was right here this morning, 8 hours ago, and 1% stop loss. Actually, might have got stopped out here, but might have to try 2 times. 1% stop loss, 2% target. That's why people sold right here, and then it happened one more time. Might happen one more time, but you could see here the obvious support and resistance zone. Ethereum is going sideways for now. Okay, Snapchat. So we had Snap earnings last week on it was 3 days ago. Massive short, right? Even though they had good earnings, that's why I don't trust these numbers here. You have to read the actual report. But Snap, some bad news. Shorted to huge problem is negative 25% to downside. So let me go ahead and use this as a great example. So Snap, even if we draw, this is a great example of how technical analysis can fail. Charts, patterns, indicators are never 100% accurate. If that was true, everybody would just make money every single time. It's not true though. Fundamentals can override the technical setup. So once we lost this wedge, right, there's a little intermediate. Okay, actually we could just use this yellow wedge right here. Once we lost the wedge, okay, this is why we need a stop loss. Because if somebody's saying, I wouldn't do this, but if somebody's saying, okay, we're going to long here right before earnings, which usually is not the greatest thing to do, is we had our support level right at $70. So hopefully somebody's stop loss survived, but it might not have survived because it happened in post market earnings, right? So this is an example and how in stocks and crypto, your stop losses might not always work. Sometimes in Bitcoin, my stop loss is when we have massive volatility, it skipped my stop loss and it never triggered. Stocks the same way. You could have a gap down open the next morning. It's going to skip your stop loss and sell you at the bottom if your market sold it, right? So you have to be careful with risk management. The problem with Snap is, okay, it crashed. We are oversold on many time frames, right? So if somebody's gonna try to do this, is just be careful though. It is low, but you know, you want to see a very, very strong reversal signal down here on the price. This is how the saying in Wall Street, you never want to catch a falling knife. This is a falling knife right here. The big red candle, that's a falling knife. Even this is like the secondary bounce of the falling knife. Right, we had a dead cat bounce. That's fine. Always happens. Boom. Short, because the shorts have to close. Boom. They closed, pull back down. They re-shorted again. So that's important to notice that. But I want to see like a stronger level of support. You need to kind of see a support building like this. I want to see Snap consolidate a little bit or reverse up, and then I'm going to start to long this thing. I'm not going to long it just yet. Not yet. If you want to though, if you're an investor type and you believe in Snap fundamentals and you don't care about earnings or volatility or being living in the red a little bit, sure, somebody could try to do this, right? But keep in mind, tech earnings this week. I'm not touching this just yet, but that's because I'm not super aggressive on the downside. Because in my experience, I've traded so many things where you think it's the bottom and it's not, right? So from experience, I've learned you need to see physical price proof. This thing is stopping. It needs to stop down here. Okay. Yeah. If you're long term, then no problem. No problem. Like if you're going to hold it for 5 years or something, then probably no problem. But, if someone's trying to day trade scalp, it's a whole different strategy and mindset. But again, just be prepared for volatility this week. The stock market is going to move this week on tech, which means Snap will probably move somehow as well. But the odds are favoring eventually it might bounce someday. Just, you have to psychologically be prepared for some downside pain. Shorts always love, because this is their strat. Their strategy is they want to crush people with their stop losses, right? If somebody longed here, they're going to crush them until they get maximum pain, and then they're going to let go. 25% is a lot, though. So I'll be watching this little bear flag very carefully on Snap. All right. Let's see here. It's a pretty good stream today. Let's look on my list. Let's do Ford. I know some people in the group are holding Ford. All right. So Ford had a nice rally off the EV tax credit news. One of our members brought that to the group, and several members I know are asking about this. So the logic here is we were in a downward trend line. Okay, this is kind of like that Snap thing. Is if it's downtrending, well, crashes are different. Crashes, you might get a V-shaped recovery, so I'll watch for that on Snap. But the bigger term picture is if it's downtrending, at some point it's going to go sideways. That's what I'm looking for, or it's going to go up, reverse, right? So that's what I was saying. I was telling the members that on the stream is if this thing breaks out retest, then watch for the rally, and that's exactly what happened. It's a textbook setup. We had our support. And once you have like a 3 or 4 support, $13, this thing doesn't want to come down, and we're going up. And that was verified with the stock market rally. But the reverse is true now. We got forward earnings on 3 days from now, and you have a little bit of loss of momentum on forward right at a resistance zone. So it's looking like forward might pull back possibly right before earnings. It would make sense. We have a double top zone, just like Bitcoin, sort of. Resistance here. So if it pulls back, this thing pull back all the way down to $14. The first support is 15, second support 14, third support 13. If we lose all those, that's a very bad problem for Ford, and shorts are going to rejoice. But if you're long, that's not good. So I would just watch for that break, because if we're only looking at technicals and you're skipping earnings, right? Only looking at technicals, it's the same zone of high level of price momentum. So longs always want to buy. You want to buy at a discount. You don't want to be a guy longing right now. Don't buy here if you're a long, because that's the highest risk zone. That's also the like all-time high, I believe, of Ford. All the way to 1969 price. It's at the all-time high in the monthly chart. The only thing I'm keeping alive on this hope for longs is it's a monthly it's a monthly ascending triangle pattern. So maybe we will get the breakout someday, right? It's supposed to break out if it's textbook. This thing should keep going here. But Ford is a company, so Ford needs to basically dominate electric vehicles. That's what Ford needs to do, and then sell a lot of those electric vehicles, make a lot of money, or acquire another company that's going to do it for them. But this could take like 10 years to play out. So I'm not telling people, like, I don't want to force that on people in their mind. So I just look at the daily right now. Just watch out for this. Even weekly starting to pull back a little bit. So watch out for it. It's a little bit of warning signs on Ford, yellow signs on Ford. We lose this 1 hour uptrend, like right to 16. Could be a problem. Okie dokie. Let's see. Next. Let's see. Anybody have any more requests? I think I might go. If you have to leave, I know if it's like late in your time zone, please feel free. For me, it's evening time, so this is how I prepare for the market upcoming in the week. Any more requests? Stocks or crypto? DWAC, Trump stocks, meme stocks. All right, DWAC. Okay, in this particular case, all right, in this particular case, I always had to say this is educational only, because when you get an insane run like this, an insane 400%, 500%, 10x on DWAC, right? The Trump backed SPAC company, you want to be careful. Okay, be very, very cautious. This is like a day trader's play, because on daily there's only two candles, so you have to go way in. But you can still use this. This is how I do it. You got your big support at 68.42. You got a gap here at 52.30. Resistance 118. Resistance 178. And then 20s. And then what is it? $45. Then I move in. You have to move in quite a bit here. You have to move in all the way. We got to go deep intraday. So I would Fibonacci this from the bottom of the move to the top of the move on a logarithmic chart. Now you can see the descending triangle pattern happening. This almost looks like Shiba Inu. Okay, so you could kind of use Shiba Inu as a reference of what might happen. So we're trying to break out here. If this really happens, it could be a 60 to 120%. So that average is 90%. So 60 to 90%. If bulls are going to take this up tomorrow, then we might get the first 10%, 30%, 70% pump. I don't know if we can go 90% though, because that's back to all-time highs. Log chart, because log chart is for exponential moves, and I know this one is exponential move. So if you look at the chart, you can't see this well. Left side. Log chart on. Now I can see it. So it just gives you equal moves. It just depends. If something moves a lot exponential, logarithmic, then I use a log chart. If it doesn't move a lot, like a S&P 500 index that moves like 1%, then you can use a standard one. If you're a beginner, just use a standard chart. Because if you don't remember what you're doing, your charts will get all messed up. So, you know, just watch out for that. But again, this is a day trading example where you got to use all the tools to your disposal. Okay, so we know that daily we have a big doji candle, 4 hour. Let me see, 4 hour we had a shooting star. So there's some buyer fatigue. Then it's pulling down, right? Then it's starting to a downtrend. So I would get a little bit careful of this, although it looks like bulls might try to pump it one more time, rally one more time. But you have to realize, even if you don't look at any indicators, okay, this is an uptrend. All right, and this could turn into a downtrend. So the only two levels I would watch for is $70 on DWAC. If you lose $70 on DWAC, this thing is going down. Where? To $47. The next support price cluster right here. Happens every time with these IPO SPAC meme hype coins. I mean stocks. Even with coins too. Because the upward momentum trend line is gone, and so now it's consolidating. The bulls are going to try one more time. Probably. So you only want to watch for two levels right now is 85.64 and $68. Okay, I would just draw it like that because you have the support here. Just be careful. Okay, be careful. This is one, if you're day trading, you want to use a stop loss. That's a good question. Somebody's asked a question about broker charts versus trading view. Um, the data, I believe, is slightly different. You probably want to message trading view help support desk. You message trading view because I'm not trading view help desk because the data is different, and then you have to pay for external data like for pre-market, post-market, extended hours data, and even that data is slightly different than broker data. So personally, I use both. I use my own broker data and I use TradingView charts, and I've figured out how to, over time, like how to use both of them in harmony. Okay, but if you bought at $12, um, don't be a bag holder. You know what I'm saying? Don't be a bag holder. Is you have to, okay, I don't want to give somebody too much financial advice. I'm just saying don't let it crash back down to zero is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like a Doge coin or a Shiba coin. You know, I always had sad to hear people who said they bought at the bottom and they just held it back to the bottom, and I'm like, oh man, they didn't take any profit at all. You know what I mean? It's like somebody bought here. Let's pretend I bought at 30 in the middle. Um, you know what I mean? Is stop loss. You got to move your stop losses up. Because if you can't decide where you're gonna sell, is let the market sell for you and take your profit, and then pay taxes. Right? That's trading. Yeah, every broker's different. So, uh, yeah, my broker's a little slower, but um, it's fine. I learned how to deal with it. Okay. So I would just tell people to be careful on DWAC, um, because the uptrend for now is over. Yes, this could be like a what is it, Shiba Inu type of setup where this thing's gonna bounce like that. If it does, though, if it does, then I would do my stop loss like this below the candle body wick, at least a 10% stop loss, and my target would be 20 to 40% to the upside on DWAC. But because the price is frozen in time, I kind of need to see it. Is it going to retest and then do Dogecoin Shiba Inu pattern, price pattern. If not, this thing's gonna fade down. Because you have to watch out. Hedge funds and shorts, they want to crush this thing to oblivion. They want to make their they could make so much money on the downside if they crush this thing. So be careful is what I'm saying. We lose $70, man. Shorts are gonna go berserk. Okay, next. Is there are there more requests? I'll probably go 30 more minutes and then we'll wrap it up. So if anybody, oh, somebody asked for BTC, we'll go back to BTC. It's good to look at it every hour or so, or every 4 hours. So if you're just joining the stream, welcome. Please keep in mind we have stock earnings, big tech earnings this week, next week, following week, and there could be volatility in both markets. So Bitcoin, the only thing I'll say here is we are in the resistance zone up here. Okay, so the longer term setup is, are we going to break out and go bull? If that happens, we need to break above the resistance at 70,000, retest and continue up, right? If not, this thing's going to get just rejected and pull back down to 53,000 longer term. So I have, these are the big three levels. It is an ascending triangle, so that's bullish, leaning a little bullish, right? But price action is the final evidence. I need to see price do this, up and up. If not, pull back. If not, if people can't make up their mind in the world or the news is bad, then we're going to consolidate, tighten up in here. Then we're going to finally get the break up or down. It's going to do that. Okay. But Bitcoin, if you trade a Bitcoin, if this thing keeps going up, right, people are going to FOMO in and jump in here. It's not really FOMO because it's a breakout setup, but you just don't want to buy with your eyes closed and no stop loss, no plan. To me, that's FOMO. And just following emotions and other people's opinions, that's FOMO. So let me finish Bitcoin. We'll talk about FOMO, actually. Somebody asked me. So those are only two levels I'm playing. And to really understand what's going on, this is what I'm saying, is you have the support level, 60,000 is your big line in the sand. We lose 60,000, this lower is going to happen to like a 58 or something like that, right? And I said, bearish scenario, if this turns to head and shoulders, we're going down 10% on Bitcoin over time, not in one day, but 54,000 is in the cards. If it breaks bear, if it breaks bull and we don't go down, okay, then we need to see at least a little pullback and uptrend reversal back into resistance test zone. Okay, so just watch out for that in the whole market. But there's some other altcoins that's going to move on its own. That's just how the market is. If Bitcoin is stable, then altcoins are trying to go berserk, up or down. People are really excited about day trading cryptos. But Bitcoin is kind of that bigger king. It's bigger, slower asset. So, you want to watch out for that. We did have this hourly uptrend, 4-hour get penetrated to the side. So that's a yellow flag. We've had consolidation several times, but this one is actually a 4-hour downtrend. The only thing keeping me hope is there is this 4-hour momentum. That's why I'm not saying we're going to completely pull down yet. Okay, so I would just watch for that 60,000. Okay, and then a quick note about FOMO. All right. Please keep in mind everything I say on this stream is just educational only. And I'm kind of talking loud because I need to speak louder to the microphone so people can hear me. I'm not yelling at anybody. So this is just educational advice. I'm streaming live on TradingView, YouTube, Twitch. I have a free Discord group with basic stock market and crypto analysis. I have my free ideas in my profile. Those are longer term ideas for people to get a grip on the market, handle on the market. Now let's talk about FOMO for a few minutes, okay? FOMO. Somebody asked me on the stream last time. I didn't get to answer. What is FOMO? To me, You could Google it, FOMO, but FOMO is an acronym for fear of missing out. Fear of missing out, meaning that if you miss the move on Bitcoin, you see big green in the market on whatever asset you're trading, stocks, crypto, forex. FOMO kicks in, fear of missing out, and then you just buy for no reason. You just buy because you missed the trade. Or you buy because you're like, oh, I lost so much money. I needed to make that money, so I need to buy now. Or all your friends bought lower, or everyone on the chat room or online bought lower, and you missed it, and you're like, oh, I missed it. How come I didn't buy it? That's FOMO. Jumping into a trade with no plan, no charting, no stop loss, no position sizing, no risk management. That's FOMO to me. You can still buy at a relative high price, but if you have a stop loss and a well-positioned plan, right? I am not really going all in right here on crypto. I am not doing that. I am not doing that. I need to see more evidence. I need to see a real setup. Are we going to break out of here? Then I need to see the proof. Back test it at least one time, big time, then rally up, then we're off to the races. If it just goes straight up like this, that's nothing to me. You know what I mean? That's just a higher high. That's not confirming we're going to go. Well, actually, that's a little too high, but you know what I'm saying, right? If you just get like one stick up or one candle up for like one day, that doesn't really mean as much. I need to see real patterns for long setup. Okay, so I'm watching this very closely. I want to see, are we going to get another head and shoulders pattern to the downside setup here? Is this going to happen again? Are we going to get a double top again? That would be bad. Okay, so I'm just watching that very closely. And then how does somebody have no FOMO? Why did I start no FOMO charts? Why did I name my group no FOMO charts? Because if most people starting out are long only, meaning are green only, they're not shorting, they're not selling short, selling red. They're long only with like $1,000 or $10,000 or, you know, whatever account size you have, $100, whatever it is. But no FOMO means, how do you not chase? How do you not miss out on moves? Is you have to chart. Chart first, then trade, then manage it. Manage the risk. It's a 3-step process. So you have to be good at all three to be successful long term. So how would I chart this? Again, Bitcoin. How did I have no FOMO? How did I know how to buy and hold down here at 9,000, 10,000? How did I know how to sell up here at 64, 65,000 range, right? TA, technical analysis, just risk management, being disciplined, and then also getting a understanding sentiment and psychology of trading. It's actually a 4-step process, but this is how I chart it. Actually, I'll use I'll just use this chart. So this is how I chart it. On a daily, I would just get my trend lines right here. If you don't, I would encourage people to use extended trend lines, because extended trend lines, if you only use a short trend line like here last year, one second, excuse me, you would have missed this spot up here. Can you see what I'm saying? So that's why I like to use extended trend lines. Because if you draw it tight correctly, this was here for over 6 months. This spot right here. And this spot was here for 4 months. Or 5 months. Right? So and then you could draw an extended trend line like that. So there's so many at least 2 signals. I drew one line. And if you're really good at technical analysis, this is not for beginners, but if you're really good at it, you could try to put some risk on there. And then what would have happened? You would have made 100%. Absolutely phenomenal investment, right? But the problem is, first, was somebody able to draw this? Like, does somebody even know what technical analysis is? like support, resistance, trend lines, support lines, trend lines. Okay. How did I know how to go long here? There was back here at 9, 10,000 and hold it from experience, number one, but there's also resistance, ascending triangle breakout. This is what I'm watching for. You had it again. The first ascending triangle breakout was back in 2019. There's one right here. Then there's one here at 2020. This is how I knew. This one was a little better because that's what I'm saying. It went to the top here of the ascending triangle. This is not a perfect drawing. Went to the top here and then pulled back down. And that was that last opportunity of a beautiful long entry. Right. Also, this was kind of like upside down head and shoulders. There's like multiple reasons flashing me in the face on the chart saying this thing's going 80 to 160%. We went way higher than that. But it's because Bitcoin was relatively low. We had a flash crash, a deep flash crash, and it's because of the pandemic recovery. This is not happening right now. That's why I'm a bit weary of us thinking we're going to 100,000 in 1 month because the stock market is looking downwards right now. Back here, the stock market was looking completely upwards. So back 1.5 years ago, all assets were pointing up on the charts. There's a huge difference between then and right now. The Federal Reserve is going to begin their tapering program, which means stocks could pull back, right? Back here, the Federal Reserve started the stimulus program, so everything was going up back then. And we had an ascending triangle on Bitcoin, so it was double good. Upside down head and shoulders, boom. This is how you know FOMO back then. Back here, nobody was excited about crypto and telling me to buy, right? But because of experience, discipline, and basically TA knowledge and skill, experience, I knew I got to buy this thing now. And then up here, how do I know how to sell? There's a huge lesson here for anybody watching. You're getting the goal right here. Is there's resistance. Okay. Also, we had a huge rally up. There's resistance right here at 65,000. Also, people in other chat rooms online, um, not in this chat room, but in other chat rooms, people are saying Dogecoin going to $5, Dogecoin $3, Bitcoin to the moon, Bitcoin to what was it, 100K, 120K. But I was saying on the charts, but the charts are telling me we are going down. So who should I believe? You know what I mean? That's why I don't listen to opinions and too much news. That's why you don't hear me talk about that stuff. I don't, because it's usually wrong. To be honest, just quite frankly, it's usually wrong. So the charts, the price has a higher chance of being correct. That's why once I saw this happening, I'm like, come on, we're getting stuck here 4 times. I'm out. I'm done. We're done for now. I'm saying this big rally from here to here, this thing to here, or the bottom pandemic to here, that leg was done. From experience, I knew that. TA. And then we pulled back. So again, how do we have no FOMO? If you missed everything for 5 years of Bitcoin and you just came in this year, right? You have to have still have your TA skills and understand there's a huge level of support at $30,000 right here. How many touch points do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. On the 8th time was the X marks the spot, the horizontal trend line. Boom, right there at this blue dot down there. So I went long crypto off the rebound of that 332 right up upper 30,000s. And we had the El Salvador say they're going to legalize Bitcoin. So I'm like, I am in this trade. Here we go. Also, if you know technical analysis, there's a resistance zone just about here, 35,000 in the past. Also, we have trend line right here. There was this triangle pattern, breakout, consolidation. But the problem is it looks easy on the charts, but back then it was a very, very difficult decision to make because every single person I talked to in the world hated Bitcoin at this period of time. They did not like it because it's crashed down. People are saying we're going down to 10,000, 5,000, $3,000 Bitcoin. Everyone's so bearish. But then when there's maximum fear in the market, I am going to come in and buy. Because that's what Warren Buffett taught me in his books. So for me, when we also had the El Salvador crash, I remember people were like obviously not happy on that stream, right? Because a lot of people lost money. They got stopped out. This is why risk management is important. Sorry for everyone to hear that a lot of people lost money on this part. But you have to have if I bought long here, I have to move my stop loss up, or else if this thing happens, I lost. If I didn't leave it, I would have lost half my position profits, right? So if you're like trying to be an aggressive swing trader, you got to move your stops up. Here as well, I remember on September 30, again, I have to just point this out. A lot of my streams, I don't know if people are keeping track of what I'm saying, but after this, I said we might get into a bounce, lower high bounce, and then pull back down again. That's exactly what happened. Longer term, this is why I always have a longer term view. And then once we got down to here in Bitcoin, there's a bear flag triangle. And on September 30 stream, I somebody directly asked me what should they do, and I said there's two setups there, two possible entries. Let me rewind before we move on to the next question. Where is it? Okay, here it is. So I said this guy, somebody I forgot who it was. He asked me right here on this day, September 30th in the afternoon. We were literally right here on the yellow circle, and I told him there's two situations. You can long here if you want, put a stop loss here, and then let it go to the upside, right? The measurement of this triangle was 8%, so leave it till it goes 8% up at least, and that's where everybody sold, the day traders first, right? The second entry I said, but if it fails and pulls back, I would enter here at upper 41,000s. We probably still would have broke bull, right? So that's why support and resistance absolutely critical. Trend understanding. Even this right here. How did I thought we were going to get a pullback, but the market doesn't always work like that. It's again support and resistance, two lines for a day trader. Although I don't recommend zooming in this far. That's not good. Zoom out. And then I would have drawn this. Boom, boom, like that. And then when this thing goes up, that's another breakout play because we're in an uptrend. For our uptrend reversal, I had thought maybe we'd pull back. We had a baby pullback. That's fine. And futures traders took over. Right? You could see the consolidation zone again, right here and here, 55 and 53. You see that? Test, retest of support, breakout, breakout of resistance, up. And then, or you could draw trend lines, either whatever you want to do, whatever works for you. See, once you draw it, now we're doing some real TA. Although I should point out, TA never works 100% of the time. And I always get nervous for people when they show me a chart and they're zoomed in at a 5 minute and this is all they send me. And they just do this. And they're saying Bitcoin's up. And I'm like, oh man, this person needs to zoom out. Right? If you're on a 5 minute looking like this as a day trader, you have to do extra homework and work to understand there's a resistance right here on the left side. You can't always zoom in like that all the way. That's why a lot of people have trouble day trading. The support here, there was a upside down head and shoulder pattern overnight right here, 1.69%, 1.63%. We almost hit that target. Beautiful. That trade's done for day traders. First day traders and bots, they got out here. Consolidation, next session, pullback. You can even measure this right here, up, right? So it just depends on what type of person you are, how much risk. But the general rule is the more you trade, the more money you can lose because you're risking it more. If you ever played cards before, right, the more money you put on the table, the more money you could lose. The more money you put in the market, the more money you can lose, but also the more money you can make. So it depends on how good the chart setup is, like how good is your technical analysis skills and risk management, and actually finding the asset at the good point in time. That's why I put in a lot of work and effort because it pays off in the end. Oh, somebody has a question. I think somebody's thinking around 50,000 or 54,000 position long, I think, for the rebound. What do I think? all I would do very simply is make sure where's my support? Where is my support? If this is our big pivot point up here, if this is our big pivot point, we're probably going to pull back down to 53 if it fails. If the rally fails because it has to go up one more time, it's trying to find where's the highest high it could possibly go before markets get really, really overextended to the upside, and then a pullback happens. We just had a little bit of baby pullback the past couple days. We hit this resistance though. So if we're not going to break the resistance, we could double top and fade back down to 58. But then you see here, there's a big resistance inflection line right here, 53,000. That's why I keep saying that. There is immediate resistance or support at like a 58K right here. And then like a 48 support. So if you have patience, okay, again, I'm looking at two spots. 67,000 breakout retest, 59,000 immediate, maybe three spots, 53. That's all we got to do. Weekly is telling us, hinting, we had a weekly shooting star the past weekly close. So we can fade all the way back down to 51,000 and still be in a weekly uptrend. I'll draw the blue line here. We could fade back down to here and still be fine. Also, how I knew how to get out of Bitcoin is there's this pattern right here back then at 65. So that's more advanced. But the fact that we have a weekly here, unless we get massive continuation, I'm starting to see a little bit of yellow flag signs on Bitcoin. But stock market volatility of earnings could change everything, though. Okay, so I hope that answered your question. Does anybody have any more requests on stocks or crypto before we wrap up here for the week? Okay, great. Yes, I mean, eventually I'm probably, I have a free Discord group for now, but eventually it's going to be paid. I might do charts, like paid chart setups in the future. Um, might make a course, might write a book. It just depends on how much free time I have. I'm a full-time trader though, so I trade and I invest in both markets. And you know, you, if you're a beginner and you're just watching this for like the first time or something, is kind of have to study. The way I think about it, maybe I'll just close with these remarks. Is I view trading as like any other activity in life. I am not a CMT. I'm not licensed, so that's why everything here is educational only. It's not professional advice. This is not financial advice. I'm saying it's not licensed professional advice. Is I'm an independent trader. I'm solo, but for my background, I studied and traded for many years, or for crypto experience, it would be considered many years, I guess. But basically, hold on one second. Let me take a sip of water. Okay, so all I'm saying, yeah, I self study. I read many books, but the thing is I executed that knowledge on the charts. Like I would spend hours every day charting stuff as a beginner and intermediate. Yeah, I still do that now. I spend a lot of time, my free time charting, hunting for setups on stocks or crypto. Sometimes I find something, sometimes I'll miss something, right? Like there's like over 5,000 stocks, there's 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 stocks. So there's a lot of stocks out there. For USA crypto, there's about 60. So USA crypto is a little easier. But all I'm saying is that if somebody's starting out is to study, it's just like any ability. I view this like sports or like music or just anything you want to get good at in life. So, when I was younger, I used to play sports and music. So it's like if you want to get good at basketball, if you want to get good at football or baseball or soccer or rugby or golf or tennis or whatever sport you're doing, swimming, is you have to have a good balance of learning the rules, right? Learning the techniques, learning the skills, getting some knowledge, and then you have to actually put it into practice. So what does that mean? Is like for basketball, well, how do I hold the ball? How do I bounce the ball? What are the rules of the game? Who are the best players in the world? How do I play basketball? What are the positions? You know what I mean? There's so many uh, factors that go into it. And then at a certain point, you have to grab the ball for yourself and then practice. Like bounce the ball, hold the ball, bounce the ball, shoot the ball, right? You're going to miss a lot in your practice, right? You're going to mess up a lot, or you're going to fall down a lot, or you know what I'm saying, right? But just how many shots are you going to practice? How much are you going to study on the charts? How much are you going to learn? How much are you going to practice? Paper trading. How much are you going to back test? How much are you going to paper trade? Right? How much are you going to learn about TA? In whatever amount of free time you have. If you have 5 minutes of free time a day, that's great, right? If you have 1 hour a day or a week, that's great. Whatever you want to do, whatever you can do. But to me, the market is like a test of your knowledge and skills. The market is the test, honestly, because the market is the Olympics of finance. The stock market, crypto market is the Olympics of trading. So if you're gonna get, I always use this analogy. If you're gonna get into the heavyweight boxing ring with the heavyweight champions of the world, with no knowledge and study and practice and ability at all, and we're gonna stand in the ring, there's like a 90+% chance we're gonna get knocked out. We're gonna get knocked down. We're gonna lose trading, right? That's why there's that statistic that 90% of day traders lose some or all their money within 1 to 3 years. Within 3 years, over 95% of traders lose all their money and quit, right? So with that statistic in mind, is it's like sports, right? You lose one game, are you going to quit the whole game forever? It's like, no, right? So for me, if you're starting out or if you don't have a lot of trading money, right, a trading account, is there's paper trading right here on TradingView. This is what I love TradingView. You know what I'm saying? You could paper trade stocks and crypto USD pairs. I believe an infinite amount of times, as much as the server can handle, right? As the system can handle. This is your best friend here. Paper trade and keep like an Excel spreadsheet if you're serious, and then try to understand what went wrong. What did I do right? What did I do wrong? What did I miss? I paper trade a lot, and I study the charts a lot, and I study books a lot, and I practice a lot. Like some days on Saturdays, I would do like 8 hours straight. I was like obsessed with it. This kind of person I am. So then I would, paper trade in the beginning, and with like a $10,000 account or something, paper trade account, and try to figure that out. But I would not recommend trial and error. That's why trial and error is not the best strategy for trying to practice charting or trading, because if you're wrong 10 to 100 times, uh, the account is blown up. You lost all the money. It's bankrupt. So you, if you're just starting out, I highly recommend paper trading, and it's logging in your entry. Where did you buy? Where's your stop loss level? And then where's your exit? And your position size too in the Excel spreadsheet. And then why did you enter the trade? What was going through your mind? Was there any news catalyst? This is like getting advanced. I know pro day traders and pro money managers that, especially pro day traders at a prop firm, Wall Street, they have to log in their trades on their respective systems, right? But if you're at home, there's an Excel spreadsheet or a notebook at least, right? When I started out, I bought like a little paper notebook, and I started that way. I just wrote it down. So again, there's a lot of behind the scenes of, like, if you're coming to the stream right now, it's years after of experience of doing the charts every day. That's why I could do it with the speed and with the accuracy. So I just trying to encourage people is, it's just like anything else in life, right? School, same deal. If you never study for a test, the student will probably fail, right? If you never put in if you do not do the homework and you turn in the assignment the next week, and it's completely blank, that's a fail, right? If you never study for the test, you never open up any books, how are you going to get better at charts? For basketball, football, you never bounce the ball, you never learn anything, you never take the shots, you never practice anything. Like, how can we get better, right? So, trading, charting is just like anything else in life. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Everyone in here is good at something. You're good at something. You already specialize in something in your life. If you went to college or you went to a trade school or, you have a job, that's your specialty, right? So for me, trading and charting became my specialty because I put so much time into studying and practicing into it for stocks and crypto. And I still do that to this day. Um, I still do it to this day. All right. So just want to put that out there as just a little bit of motivation and encouraging um, remarks to end the stream. I know things are bad in the world right now, but markets still move. You know what I'm saying? The financial markets, like business, is still going every single day. That's the key with trading. The corporations are always moving forward as best they can. All right. So thanks so much, everyone, for watching and joining. I am streaming live on TradingView, YouTube, and Twitch. Right now, we have a free Discord group with a basic stock market. Actually, it's more like intermediate to advanced watch list of what's going on in the stock market and cryptocurrencies and what might happen up or down. I'm a big stocks person, so I always look at stocks as well. And we have the free ideas in my profile if you want to check those out to get good support resistance levels and trend. And and again, this is not like a purely educational stream. Is like whatever I'm saying, even for myself. Okay, um, these setups can apply to $100 account, a $10,000 account, $50,000 account, $1 million account, $100 million account. These setups and these levels of support resistance work for every size account, and it's about trading. So just want to put that out there. All right, everybody. Uh, yeah, if you have additional questions, maybe we'll save it for the next stream, or if you want to ask me in Discord. But kind of went over time today. So thanks so much, everyone, for watching and joining. Hope you have a nice week, and I'll see you on the next stream, probably on next weekend. So thank you. Bye bye.